Hello and welcome back to my map. So we're gonna look at this for a second. I've got a couple ideas of what I want to do. I want to go try to explore up more in this area, since it seems like this area is huge and that could take days of travel, and maybe even a secondary base at some point. But we're gonna finish exploring up here because it seems like it terminates pretty quickly, and we might find some good stuff. But yeah, so I tried to spend a day cutting down forest, and then a rainstorm happened, and you know how I kept saying I needed to build lightning rods over by my forest? Yeah, I should have done that earlier. I should have done that much earlier. So this is a little tragic, to say the least. Like, I kind of wish this hadn't happened. Yeah, all the wood we had already chopped, dead. Well, for the most part. And I was getting a pretty good supply of wood there, and then this happened, and it's not exactly ideal, but hey, not a whole lot else happened. I got chased by a tree guard. What else is new? And then, yeah, I'm just gonna pick up all these ashes, because at least that's super useful. And then, yeah, we'll chop down all of these. Don't get me wrong, the charcoal can be used, and it is quite useful. However, I think the wood would have been just a slight bit more useful. So, there you go. How's that for an intro into the episode? Should probably, hopefully, highlight how this is probably going to go, I imagine. So, yeah, we're just going to chop this. It's going to take a second. Don't mind me. Yeah, so, Flaming Log Wars, huh? I'm trying to see, I want to start telling more stories, because I've got a few, but it's been so long since I've told most of them, I can't even remember. It's like, you know, crazy roommates, weird things I did in college. Especially, like, getting older, I find myself doing less and less interesting things, which I'm told is normal, but, you know, not in the least bit a little sad. That's definitely a factor, where it's kind of like, oh, come on, I need to go on more adventures. Although I guess, you know, whenever I lived in Galveston, Texas, that was an interesting time for sure. But I have a hard time remembering a lot of it. It was kind of a spring breaky kind of town. You know, there were Mardi Gras and biker rallies and all that other fun stuff that usually happens in primarily tourist communities, I guess is a better way to phrase that. So it should come as no surprise that a lot of chicanery was had, but yeah, no, there's other things. I want something to talk about while I'm doing all of this more tedious stuff, because I'm kind of torn in between, yeah, no, this is tedious, but something interesting could happen, so I want to capture it on film, and I don't necessarily want to completely rely on fast-forward cuts for everything. It seems, it's not like it seems cheating, it just seems like I need to be a better performer than that in the long run. So, hopefully a stream of consciousness will erupt from me, and out of adaptation's sake, and then, you know, it won't be much of an issue, will it? So, that's the dream, though. That's the plan. That's the hope, etc. Our meat stew is going bad. It's not exactly ideal. Okay, well, we will chop down what we can here, and I'll collect the wood from that, and hopefully that won't catch on fire unceremoniously. So, I would space out the trees a little bit more, but, like, actually coordinating that, I think, is damn near impossible, or at least incredibly impractical. So, I don't worry about it too much. It's not really a priority. Uh-oh, we have angered a tree guard. Go fucking figure. Okay. Well, they're at least super slow, so we can just sort of do this. I did find a lot of, like, dead bee stuff. Like, I saw bee stingers and everything, so I'm guessing during spring they got really hostile, decided to attack a tree guard, and then, tree guard just wrecked their shit, and then we got free loot for it. So that was kind of cool, I guess, in a way. Let's see, also, it looks like, no, our parasol is, or our umbrella is still working. A parasol is a separate item from this. Let's go ahead and try to appease this tree guard right about here. So I don't know if I've actually done this in the middle of an episode or not, but this is how you get them to stop chasing you around the planet. Mostly. If it, like, actually works. It's supposed to be a 1 in 3 chance whenever you're this close to them. You can plan them from further away, but there we go. Fine, a fucking Lee. Okay. But it seems it's definitely RNG based. They also have a pretty mean insanity radius around them, so and that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, chopping more trees. Of course, it would be my luck if one of these becomes a poison birch. That would not be great. Alright. I'm kind of debating how I want to handle birch trees in the future, because they're really good, but they're kind of hard to manage. Just because right now, I don't know if it's like because it's spring or what, but they're only dropping one birch nut per tree, or full-grown tree. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm screwing that up or if I'm missing some details or what. It's kind of annoying. So I'm hoping maybe I can find a resolution to that before I really start farming the hell out of them. I'm sure there's some kind of subroutine going on in the coding there that's determining that. Let's see, I've got 7 chops left. I can go chop like a baby tree, or just waste the chops and get rid of the item out of my equipment here. Let's just do that, actually. I don't feel like messing with it. Okay. There we go. Deal. So, I did manage to use a lot of straw, so we'll be picking that up as we see it. This is probably going to be kind of a relaxed episode. I'm just going to go dig up these stumps and then collect all the wood. And that'll be how we pretty much handle things. I figure it's probably not too bad to have one of these episodes every now and then. And again, I'm trying to invoke the stream of consciousness, hopefully. And, do sort of your basic stream of consciousness casting, which is oh so popular. There we go. Oh, looks like we already need another treasure chest. Yeah, it's about time. Wait, do I have spider webs somewhere? No. I'm trying to see if I can spot any redundancies. Like, unfortunately, these symbols don't really lend themselves to being incredibly apparent. In the sense of, like, I mean, they're uniquely designed and all that other stuff, and they do a really good job of that, but let's go ahead and eat that right now before that becomes an issue. I think that was starting to turn. You're probably right. Oh, what did I see? There was some use for butterfly wings, but what was it? I had just seen like a use for like an unusual item that I had been struggling with trying to find an actual use for, and then I was like, oh, okay, and now I've forgotten it, so go fucking figure. Alright, let's go ahead and, you know what we need to do is make a bird cage. Bird cages would be super handy. Let's, we'll table that for now, but let's go ahead and get this pomegranate, and then we're going to cook it and eat it for the little bit of health that it'll give us. Yep, cook. And eat. There we go. And, actually, we're going to make some candy real quick. We've got the resources for it. Whoa, no, that's not. We can't cook grass. That would be dumb. Alright, so candy on a stick. And there we go. Cook. And then I'll worry about more food in a minute. Alright. And then we do that. And then I need to make boards. 3 boards. Okay, and then we can make another chest. Alright. So, again, I am not probably any good at designing bases for this game, so keep that in mind, just for the sake of, like, you might be screaming at me and going, no, if you do it like that, this will mess up, blah, 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 something or other. And you're probably entirely right. In fact, I'd probably guarantee that you were right in lieu of my opinions. However, you have to comment on it. Let me know exactly what's going on here. I know there's probably been like a million episodes of people commenting on it, and I'm so far ahead in my pre-recording here that it's almost pointless. But, yeah, I'm about to take a break from recording for like a week. I've got like an incredible backlog, and there's a lot of things in my life that are about to go nuts. So it's gonna be break time for recording for a little bit, and I'll be able to catch up on some comments, and then come back and start recording again with new content and better executed content, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and plant those right here. Might not be the best idea. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're gonna run away. We probably need to kill those spider bases too, just to knock them down. Now, I said spider queens could become an issue, and for the most part, I don't really, like, it doesn't matter, but that's close enough to the base to actually be an issue where they would chase us all the way back, and we'd have to do something about it, like we couldn't get away. So we will absolutely have to take care of that. Let's go ahead and grab our taffy, which I have a tendency to call sanity candy, so, you know, if you hear that, that's not the appropriate name. It's just what I like to call it. Let's see. We can make some. Yeah, we can make some. What you call it? I can't think of it. But yeah, basically honey nuggets, something like that. Now, what do we need to do? We need to build a shovel. Okay, we're gonna dig up these stumps for wood, and that's the plan. Yep, real exciting. So we'll clean this up a little bit. I'm not going to try planting a forest again until I can actually make the lightning rod to keep them from catching on fire. That seems like probably the best idea for now. We might plant birch trees just because the birch nuts are starting to rot on us, but otherwise it's not, like, actually constructing a forest and maintaining it is not going to be very high on the priorities for now. Let's see, our wetness is starting to get up a little bit. Let's go ahead and... Oh, good, we already replaced the other umbrella. So, I had made backups in between videos for this very situation, because I knew that was going to be coming up fairly soon. So, no big deal there. Taken care of. Alright. But yeah, digging up stumps. Good stuff. Okay. So, let me think. Stream of consciousness. Favorite game of all time. Probably Mother 2, or Mother 3, or Earthbound 2, or however you want to delineate it. It's got, you know, basically about 100 different ways that you can refer to it. Alright, and then we run. Exciting. Alright, grab some berries. Totally worth it. Okay, they're going to chase us for a while. That's totally fine. They're free to do that. But yeah, no, I think Mother 3 is probably my top pick of all time. Like, I just think it's an incredibly well-told story, and I loved Earthbound. Like, I thought it completely changed my childhood and what I thought a game could be. And, you know, that's saying a lot for any game. There's always, you know, for some people it was Ocarina of Time. For some people, it was probably, you know, what else? Like Halo. There you go. Halo could be a really big game-changing event for some people. I'm not particular. I've like played Halo 4 times total my entire life. I can't really say I'm a huge fan, but I acknowledge that it did its job as far as, you know, kind of transforming the landscape of video games and how video games, you know, represent our society, or represent within our society, I guess is the better phraseology for it. So, but yeah, mine was definitely Earthbound. I think Earthbound kind of turned the idea of video game, like, by that time, everything, if you made a fantasy game or an RPG, it was always, you know, dragons, knights, running around saving princesses, blah, blah, blah. That got very, very samey very quickly. And then came the Mother games. And I mean, there was the original Mother before Earthbound. I mean, I don't know particularly much about. I never actually sat down and played it, although it looks like it was kind of like a precursor, or not necessarily a prequel, but it was, oh, what's another good game that has a great example of this, where they made a game and then they didn't necessarily reboot it, but they kind of redesigned the original game around a much more coherent story and design principle. I'm trying to think. And not like Wanderers of Ys. Wanderers of Ys is kind of an interesting game that was on Super Nintendo. It was this 2D side-scrolling RPG kind of deal. And that was a really cool game. And then they finally re-released it as I think it was a PS2 game. Now it's on PC, so you can look it up. But it's Wanderers of Ys, Oath of Felghana, where they just totally remade the whole thing. And that's not exactly what I'm trying to describe whenever I talk about the difference between Earthbound 0 and Earthbound. It's... Oh, man. I know there's like a game that's in the back of my head that I'm like, yeah, no, it's just like this game, but I can't remember the name of it to save my life. Oh, how annoying. I hate it whenever that happens. But, yeah, so basically it's kind of I guess a retelling is the best way to put it. It's just sort of a restructured retelling of the original Mother or Zero or Earthbound 0, and that's what Earthbound ended up being. And... you know, and it was a really interesting, you know, and Earthbound 0 was set in kind of modern times, and there were aliens and things like that, and there were no princesses and no dragons. Well, I know there's at least dinosaurs in Earthbound, so I don't know. That's not entirely true. I'm gonna try to get this stuff together for a pretty parasol really quick. I'm kind of curious. That'll save us on pig butts and, what you call it? Let me see. Dress. No, survival. Where is pretty parasol? Yeah, I just need 2 more flower petals. I'm going to make one and see how that stacks up to the umbrella. I know it probably doesn't prevent as much rain, but it could be useful during summer whenever it gets really hot, and that'll keep us in the shade for quite a while. So, yeah, basically... it changed the landscape of, like, what an RPG could be, and I think that's super cool. Like, that was actually really hard to do back in the day, because it was just so... everything was so solidified. You had the Final Fantasy games that kind of made that the sellable standard, right? Like, nobody wanted to go outside of Final Fantasy because it was already proven to be exactly what gamers wanted. And it's like, why would you go outside of that? But it ended up making this game that, you know, like our mother, Earthbound Zero, whatever you want to call it, ended up kind of creating this whole idea that games didn't have to be serious all the time. Like, there was a lot of humor to it. There was a lot of seriousness to it as well, but, you know, it wasn't the main feature. It kind of was the same kind of principle behind Tim Schafer making, oh, Jesus, the pirate game. You know what I'm talking about. And Guybrush. And then, yeah, and then he went on to make Day of the Tentacle and the Psychonauts and everything else. I believe that's all Tim Schafer stuff. I hope it is, otherwise I'm going to sound like a fool. And it didn't necessarily open the door, but it really contributed to the whole culture behind the idea of, like, not only like a comedic game, but sort of a more lighthearted, hey, you know what, you can do whatever you want with video games. And I think that's really important. Just sort of opening that door to being like, it doesn't have to adhere to any one particular formula. It doesn't always have to be, you know, the tried and true sellable product. It could be whatever you actually want it to be. So, and that's why I kind of, it holds a special place in my heart. It opened my eyes to this idea that, you know, games can do whatever the hell you want them to. They can be anything. They can accomplish whatever you want with them. Oh, Pretty Parasol probably works just fine, except it rots. Is that correct? Is that what's going on there? Well, that might be kind of interesting. And it does improve our sanity, so it's worth keeping on at all times. Might as well, since it's still in the middle of spring here. Rain is a pretty regular occurrence. We'll want to make sure that we kind of keep that handy, I guess. Okay. So, what are we doing? We are killing spiders. When are we killing them? In just a second after I make another spear. That's the plan. Refine. And spear. Okay, cool. Now we have backup spear. Since we only have 17 durability on that, I don't know exactly how long that would have lasted us, so I just wanted to make sure. And we have no food at the moment, but that should be easily remediable. What a weird word, or a weird way to have pronounced a normal word, one of the two. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's endeavor here. And drop that. Equip spear. Provoke spiders. There we go. I just need you to chase me a little bit. Come on, chase me. Okay. Ooh. Should be a pretty easy process here. Nothing we're unfamiliar with. Okay. We can get about here, be safe. Ooh. Whoa. Alright, cool. No big deal. Doing okay. They do produce quite a bit of spiders. Now, as long as that nest is outside of the aggro range of the other nest, we're going to be totally fine. That's the only thing we need to worry about positioning-wise. Okay. Oh, we're going to punch the hell out of this guy, because we can. We've got him stun-locked and nobody else is attacking us, so there's no reason not to. Alright. Oh my goodness, 11 spiders. This is going to be fairly slow progress. Okay, cool. Well, that part's taken care of. Let's attack this thing. Alright. Yeah, this should be... everything's fine. The positioning is good on all this. Okay. And like a million hits later... Alright, cool. Got it. And with the hat, does it actually... No, it doesn't take care of as much rain as the actual umbrella does. But that's fine. This is sort of a temporary kind of fix and experimentation nonetheless. So, but it does improve our sanity very slowly, and it keeps us from getting wet as fast. So, and that's all we really want right now. Alright, we're going to try to get these guys in a position here. They're just going to sit there and be threatening as long as I'm over in this area. So let's... Okay, back to fighting. Okay, good stuff. And I realize the episode's almost over, so I'm just going to try to clear out this last spider nest, and then I'll do the outro, and in between episodes I'll make the spider-related items that we need, like salves and whatnot. And There we go. It's getting late. That's totally fine. Ooh, summer should be here pretty soon, if not, like, the next day. So that'll be interesting. It's not going to be raining as much, which is fine. It'll just be... We'll enter the next part of the game with its new challenges that I will not be familiar with at all. So I did a little bit of research just so I don't completely stumble and destroy myself, so... and that's really all you can ask for after a point. Okay, we're going to destroy this and then go pick everything up. We got lightning strikes, which always worries me a little bit. I don't know how much damage lightning does to you, but I expect it to be, like, a catastrophic amount. Enough to really ruin your day. Okay. And Straw Hat, pick up all this stuff. Cool. Now we have, like, a really decent amount of silk. Alright, cool. We want to run away from that. How do I... There's got to be an easier way to clear my cursor that I'm not aware of. Okay. Let me think. What else do we need spiderwebs for? Oh, we can start putting together a press-to-hatillator. Press-to-hatillator is going to be important, and that'll probably be one of our next major projects, but for now we're going to explore. We have a little bit of a leeway with that. We need to explore, and I also need to make my actual... my bug-out boxes for my other touchstone that we have available. Okay, yeah, we've got all of that taken care of. We'll pick this for sanity's sake. And then, yeah, go make some food and all that other stuff. I'm so hungry. It's okay, we're going to take care of it here pretty soon, buddy. Okay, here's base. And we've got crops. Good, 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 good. And we'll go ahead and get this fire going. Cool. Alright, we made it back to base, safe and sound. At least as safe as one can be, and sound as one would want to be. Let's go ahead and eat this. Yum. And we're going to make a whole bunch of, these, whatchamacallits. There we go. And there's that. And one, two, honey. Cook. Cool. We actually have a good spread of vegetables for making a bunch of these. So, if I had more meat, I would make the honey glazed hams, but that is not currently the case, so no worries. Not a big deal. We might go try to pick up some morsels or kill a beefalo or something, or at least go observe the herds and see how they're doing. But yeah, either way, this has been Cardboard Decoy Plays Don't Starve. If you've enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be fantastic and super dandy. And, yeah, and next episode we'll do some exploration, and I think summer will probably hit by then, and, yeah, that'll be a whole new barrel of fun. Either way, yeah, I'll see you next time. Have fun.